scales today, and I want to do this in the key of C, theoretically just for the simple reason that there's no sharps or flats in the key of C. So the notes diatonic to C major are C, D, E, F, G, A, B in the octave C in the first position. So you should learn that if you don't already know that. I'm going to sort of assume that you know that and move on. I want to look at this up the fretboard, and I also want to stress that we're going to look at this harmonized 3 notes per string. One of the main reasons I like to do these in 3-note sets is that it's easy to memorize, especially this first pattern that I'm going to share with you. If you don't already know this, I consider this to be the primary pattern for major scales. Starting on the 6th string, the root note C at the 8th fret in this case, and we'll go 8th fret, 10th fret, 12th fret, and the exact same frets on the next string. So that covers C, D, E, F, G, A, and you'll notice that it's 2 whole steps on each string. Again, that's sort of, I'm just pointing out the symmetry in this scale. And I'll just stress also that that middle note in the 2 whole steps, I like to use my 2nd finger, but I know some great players who use their 3rd finger. So I'm just going to say that you have to find what's comfortable for you as far as playing those 2 whole tones on the 1 string. Yeah, let's move on to the next 2 strings, and that's E, F, G, sorry, that's B, C, D, E, F, G, and you'll notice that both those strings are a semitone and a whole tone. So again, looking at this symmetrically, 2 whole tones, a semitone and a whole tone, and the next 2 strings, that would be A, B, C, D, E, F, and that would be a whole tone and a semitone on both those strings. So you'll see that the strings sort of go in pairs as we move through the scale. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and go a little bit beyond that 2nd octave to D, E, and F. Cool. I'll just quickly also note that alternate pick. Cool. Alright, I also want to mention that maybe a good way to practice this is to do it rhythmically over a metronome. For example, just play along to a metronome in quarter notes, in 8th notes, in 8th note triplets, in 16th note triplets. And I just want to stress that when you have these 3 note per string scales, I find it easy to fall into triplet patterns, which can be good and sometimes difficult to get out of it if you practice that way a lot, which I think I do. So I think it's good to practice, like I say, even note groupings over top of the metronome, like 16ths, you know, if it's not too fast, 30 seconds, or 8th notes, or what have you. And then also, you know, I think you should also practice in triplet patterns. I'm just going to go through a few. For example, like, here's a metronome, and I'll start on 8th notes. 2, 3, 4. Same thing using 8th note triplets, and like I said, I think it's easy to fall into these triplet patterns when you have 3 notes per string. 2, 3, 4. Let me do it in 16ths. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again in 16th note triplets. 3, 4. Cool. Alright, one thing I want to quickly demonstrate is, you know, just how this works musically over top of a progression. I recorded a little progression of C major to A minor, so a real basic progression, just the one chord C major to the 6th minor chord A minor. And you'll hear how every note in the scale really fits into the progression, and how this can work, you know, musically, melodically. So let's give it a quick play. Here's the scale. So you can hear, you know, you can go on and on. You know, one last thing I'll quickly mention, and we'll look at eventually, is, you know, the benefit of having 3 notes per string also is that you can form some sequences. And we'll look at that another time. But, you know, for example, if there's 3 notes on every string, you can get a pattern of... and then play that, you know, sequentially. Just for example, you know, for your repetitious noodling. Cool, so have fun with it, play your guitar.